Welcome back to video number 2, you guys, for Monday morning. The Royals have been really busy, so let's jump in and cover what we have for today, shall we? Let's go. We're going to start off with Prince William. He gave Jacinda Ardern, the former New Zealand Prime Minister, a damehood. This happened on October 16th. She was in office from 2017 to 2023, and she was made a Dame Grand Commander of the New Zealand Order of Merit at Windsor Castle in the investiture ceremony. For those of you who don't remember her, she was in the Live to Lead documentary that Harry and Meghan did, and she came out almost immediately after it was found out that she was in it and issued a statement saying she was unaware of their involvement in it when she agreed to take part, and she immediately tried to distance herself from it. Whew. All right, moving on. Now, on the same day, October 16th, Edward, the Duke of Edinburgh, was at Hackley Common, and he went in full camo to watch training exercises with the British soldiers in Surrey. For those of you who don't remember, he is the Royal Colonel of the 1st Battalion of the London Guards. He took that over in May of 2022. He joined the soldiers. They were at a training camp, which is a nature reserve in Surrey. Next up, let's move on to King Charles, who on October 15th attended the London Symphony Orchestra to mark 120 years of them being in existence at the Guildhall on Tuesday. For those of you who may not remember, Charles is the patron of the London Symphony Orchestra. There was an hour-long performance of classical music, which also, it's being reported, celebrated the cultural relations between London and the Italian city of Genoa. Very nice. Also on the 15th, Edward, and he is the patron of the Sport and Recreation Alliance. He chaired their annual general meeting and presented the Arthur Bell Trophy and Spirit of Sport and Recreation Award. There are 5 divisions you should know to the Sport and Recreation Alliance. It's water, outdoor pursuits, major spectator sports, movement and dance, and games and sports. And so the meeting gave an opportunity for members to hear from the chairs of all the 5 divisions and how the organization had done work over the past year. Very nice. All right, let's move on. Sticking with Edward, he then went to visit Barnsley Council. And one of the things he did there was name the Tommy Taylor Memorial Bridge. Tommy Taylor, for those of you who don't know, was a Manchester United and England footballer who died in the Munich air disaster, aged 26. The Barnsley Council actually asked residents to give name suggestions for the pedestrian bridge, and the bridge links Oakwell Football Ground with the town center, and this was the name that won. I think that's just lovely. It appears this took place on the 17th, as far as I can tell, and there were about 100 people there. All right, let's move on, but sticking with Edward. Edward toured the Barnsley Market. He met the owner of a Flowers by Caroline Poskett. She did a replica of Sophie's wedding bouquet and showed it to Edward, who greatly appreciated it. Also at the market, he stopped into the butcher where he was given a Barnsley chop. Ooh. I wonder how they get that home so he can cook it. Interesting. The name of the butcher was Keith's Quality Meat. Oh, I love that. All right, still sticking with Edward and still in Barnsley, he listened to the Barnsley Choir. They sang at St. Mary's Church. Over 200 students sang. That's a lot of 220 actually. And they said it was a special private performance just for Edward. All right. Now, on October 17th, he returned to London and he went to watch a production of The War of the Worlds at the National Youth Museum. There was a post-show reception that Edward then attended. Edward is the patron of the National Youth Theatre. And remember, this play was based on a sci-fi novel written by H.G. Wells that's supposed to be all about a Martian invasion. This theater was established in 1956 by Michael Croft and Kenneth Spring, and it was the first youth theater in the world. Some of the people that have gone through this theater are Dame Helen Mirren, Daniel Craig, and Colin Firth. However, they claim that they are not a star-making factory, but a place to guide young people creatively. I just think that's wonderful. For people claiming that they don't make stars in this theater, they sure churn out a lot of them. Next up, Prince William on the 16th of October attended the Centrepoint Awards, where he called for a movement to create systemic change to end homelessness in the UK. Again, William is the patron of this particular charity, and they celebrate the achievements of young people who have transformed their lives after experiencing homelessness. William is looking really good in a navy velour blazer for the event. Oh my goodness. Whew. So once he got inside, he gave a speech, and what he said was, and I'm quoting, "I am delighted that Centrepoint is already making significant headway on this vision. Their work testing innovative solutions such as upstream prevention and the independent living program are examples of how we can create the necessary change to end youth homelessness. And I know that many of you here in this room are making that change possible." So William gave his very moving speech, then he handed out the awards, then he went around and talked very animatedly with people that were in the audience. Don't forget that the ITV special is coming out, the 2-part series that's titled Prince William, We Can End Homelessness is about to come out. And they recently also released a clip where William said, "I've slowly tried to work out what I can bring to the role and platform that I have. And I have taken some inspiration and guidance from what my mother did, particularly with homelessness." And then they show William speaking to a former English footballer who once herself was homeless, and some others with homewards. He just said, "I don't believe we should be living with homelessness in the 21st century. And the lovely lady you're looking above is Claudia Winkleman. William's cousins were also there. Lady Amelia Spencer, Lady Kitty Spencer, and Lady Eliza Spencer from left to right were also there at the award ceremony to support William. All right, moving on. Sticking with Prince William, he went to visit the college Stoke Climsland. The college is in Cornwall, and it's part of a 23-farm cluster group on land that's originally leased from the Duchy of Cornwall. And he learned how the college is giving opportunities to people in rural areas. William was able to sit down with some of the students who are part of the Future Farm program at the visit to a student-run cafe that's on campus, because we know, and it's in the article, that the Duchy is a long-standing advocate for the college, with the land steward team participating in the assessment of a year 2 agricultural students, where the students run a mock farm tender exercise at the Duchy farm. So he's very interested in all of this, and he looks like he's just, listen, if he has to go around and do all of this, I don't think he sees it as a chore. I think he sees it as a privilege, something that he's, able to do. All right, that wasn't the only school he went to, though. William then went to the Military and Protective Services Academy. He did a lot of interesting things there, but one of them that I think is really cool is where he used dust to try to look for fingerprints, because he attended a CSI training exercise with the students that are enrolled in the military. We know these are the future detectives and, police officers that go out and gather evidence. I think that's really cool. Now, while William was out, again on the 17th, he stopped into a English inn that was there on the side. There was a poster, a photo of him, along with a little background with an unannounced outing. This is the Warren House Inn, and legend has it the fire has been lit since 1845 and has never been out. Cool. Let's move on. Let's move on now to Princess Anne. I know you guys knew I wasn't going to forget about her. On October 10th, as patron of the Butler Trust, she went to visit North Tyneside YJS. Now, for those of you who don't know, the Butler's Trust celebrates excellence in UK prisons, probations, and youth justice. So she was there for the youth justice services. And she met the recent Butler Trust Award winner, Justin Laidler. Still sticking with Princess Anne, on October 17th, she was at the Isle of Man. They welcomed Princess Anne because she went to visit a refurbished cathedral. She started her visit with a service of thanksgiving in Peel. She marked a milestone in the cathedral. She was the patron of the refurbishment of this cathedral. And there were 350 invited guests, and Princess Anne unveiled an engraved floor stone that celebrated the £2 million restoration project. Looks like they did a great job. It looks like a beautiful cathedral. Princess Anne then met donors, project architects, and engineers who were involved in the restoration of the building. She also outside saw a lot of children. She met a lot of people. And while I don't have pictures of it, later on in the day after this event, she did a guided tour of the All at Sea exhibition, which highlighted the influence that shipwrecks in the waters there had on Sir William Hillary's founding of the Maritime Life-Saving Operation. Fabulous. Let's move on. I want to finish this video with this article that came out talking about royalty and how they participate and support their children's active endeavors. And one of the first things they did was bring up Diana in that race at Harry's school for Sports Day, completely ignoring the fact that Charles was there and also participated in Harry's Sports Day. Anyway, I thought it was really sweet. They pointed out that Sophie was taping Louise during a carriage driving event at the Royal Windsor Horse Show. Then they brought up Princess Anne, who was wearing her, iconic glasses, watching Zara compete in the 2012 London Olympics. Then they went back as far as showing Queen Elizabeth while she was at the Canada Olympic Games in 1976, also watching Princess Anne compete in the dressage event. Then they brought up Princess Margaret and the Queen Mother when they watched Prince Charles and Prince Philip compete in the Cumbermere Cup final polo match in 1967. That just goes to show that the royal family does support their children. All right, you guys, you know what to do. Hit the like and the subscribe button and the bell for all notifications. Leave your comments, then go down into the description box where you'll find a link to my Twitter, my Gettr, my Rumble, my email, my Patreon, which is currently paused, my Amazon wish list, and a physical address. For those of you who've donated to my coffee fund, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.